Hey guys, and welcome back to Stepping into Success, the performer's guide to a successful and long career. So welcome back, like I said, this is episode 2. I'm so excited, we're getting the ball rolling. I've got a new camera, a funky little microphone. But like I said, welcome back. If you're new here, maybe go watch the first video to understand a bit of like what I'm about and what my aims and goals are here. Today, we're going to be talking about choosing a college and which one's best. So I'm going to be splitting it up into about 7 different points. I'll probably go down a tangent, we know what I'm like. So let's dive in, here we go. So my very first point is the program that the college is offering itself and the curriculum. How much of one style or genre are you going to be getting? This is quite important. I find this interesting. So like I said in my last video, I'm very versatile. I needed a college that was going to give me the best of everything. I want to be pushed in all areas possible, whereas someone else might really want to be in a ballet company or just sing. Like, you've got to work out what's best for you in the programming sense and the amount of hours you're getting each, but also it comes down to, are you looking at getting a degree or a diploma? Now, there are pros and cons to both. Okay, so your diploma usually contains less academia, but you will be required to still maybe do logs after each class where you'll be reflecting and maybe you'll learn some history of different dance genres. I went down the route of a degree. I really quite like academic stuff. I like pushing myself, and I've said before, knowledge is the most powerful tool. So I wanted to do a degree, and that's also funded. Now, some colleges do offer a diploma dada or some sort of scholarship, so that's worth looking into, and both are perfectly good. If you want to go at 16, you can't quite do a degree yet, so there are different options for everyone. When looking at these diplomas and degrees, you want to make sure that they're accredited. Now, what does accredited mean? To summarize it, it's just making sure that the college is accredited by an accrediting agency. Now, the program in itself is kind of connected to the curriculum, but it's maybe a musical theatre course, or maybe it's a dance course or a music course or whatever. There'll be a main bracket for that. For example, I did performing arts and dance at one place, and I did musical theatre and dance. If you wanted to do dance, and then maybe they'll have add-ons, it's worth having a little research of that. Now, my most important part for this section is making sure that the curriculum is going to provide you with what you want. How I've specified on the hours of dance or the amount of academia you're going to be getting. You want it to make you as rounded as you need to be to get a job that you want to get, or give you the tools so you can do multiple jobs. What is it that you're aiming for after you leave college, and is this specific college going to give you that, or can you find that somewhere else? That's so important. I don't want you to go to this biggest college because it's got the best name and get there and it doesn't provide you with the tools that you want. However, it might provide someone else with the perfect tools for the jobs that they want. So have a little research into that. That's my best advice when it comes to the program, the curriculum, and accreditation. Point number 2 is the faculty and the resources of the college. It might sound simple to say, but you want to make sure that it has state-of-the-art facilities. You want to make sure that it's got the best studios, that they're sprung flooring. I cannot tell you enough. I have been to places where they have been concrete floors, shin splints occur, a lot of lower leg injuries occur, back pains. Make sure that if you have a tour, that's important as well, go to a tour beforehand. If you have a tour, just take mental notes of things that you need. I need a sprung floor. In my singing lessons, I would love to have someone playing piano for me. A lot of singing teachers do use tracks, but it's so amazing if someone can record you them playing piano as a backing track, and you can practice to something that's more specific to you, especially if you've been cutting music for an audition or things like that. Take mental notes of what facility the college is offering you. Resources, on the other hand, is quite generic. Do they have a library so that you can study, use the laptop, have somewhere to go if you have an hour or 2 as a break and just want to get the dissertation or an assessment bashed out? Do they have enough studios so that during a break you can go practice a dance assessment. This is so important. If you don't have the space to practice in your spare time, especially at home and things like that, you want to make sure that you can rely on your college to give you those tools. Equipment, for example, do they have good mirrors? Do they have bars that aren't broken? Do they have great sound systems to make you feel as good as you can? Not as valuable in the grand scheme of things, but if they're investing into good quality things, then you know they're going to invest well into you as well. Some colleges have their own theatres where they don't have to have high expenses for family to come and watch shows and things like that, and you get to practice in there for show reels and get lots of footage. Again, it depends on what you want and what you need, but definitely something to take into account when looking for colleges. Point number 3, faculty and industry connections. Now this is a very important one. Do they have connections with people outside of the college that could perhaps get you future work? Do they have good alumni, people that have gone to those colleges and are working in the industry? And do they have great educators and teachers and mentors there that can provide you with the right tools? Are they going to look after your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your overall health? And do they want you to succeed? Again, another great thing to kind of get a feel on when you go to an open day. Say for an example, you know a teacher at a certain college is also an agency outside of the college. What better way to get to know an agent through working with them almost every day, every week for 3 years? As long as you're working hard and both of your goals are aligning, who's to say whether you could sign with them in the future? On top of that, when it comes to faculty and your teachers, are they in the high end of their field? Are they well experienced in, say, tap dancing, and you know that you want to be a tap dancer? Well, then you want to go to that place where you're getting professional training. I'm so grateful that when I went to 2 different colleges, it meant I got 2 times the amount of teachers and amazing networks after I graduated. I literally was a sponge and I absorbed so much from each individual person that it made this. But also on the other hand, when you graduate, you're still going to be learning from so many people in your cast or people that you work for. I hope you can see a little bit more why the faculty and the teachers are so important when choosing a college. Point number 4. Okay, so I mentioned this in my last video, and this is performance opportunities. Is this college going to provide you during your 3 years with enough experience in performing that when you graduate you feel confident enough to do it? Also, I want to add here, it's getting a little bit rocky, so if you see me moving left and right, the ship is moving. If anyone's new here, I am a performer on a cruise ship in Australia and around the little lovely islands. She does get rocky sometimes, but again, adaptable as a dancer. So carrying on, is this college going to give you enough experience in musical theatre production shows, dance shows, plays? These are some really important things. Also working in pairs, in groups, on your own. Are you going to get this from this college that you like? Also, what I think is amazing from some colleges is they do collaborations with another college. For example, when I was with Performers College, they are connected to BIM. We had a big network where we could contact people. BIM are like musicians, technical, creators. They'll be like, I need an actor for this or a dancer for this. What a great way to also get some more experience whilst meeting some amazing people who could be a really good connection for you in the future. Again, lots of colleges offer things like this. It's worth doing your research beforehand, or when you go there, ask what they do, and hopefully you'll get some good answers. That's also another really important point. When you go to these colleges, make sure you have questions. It's so important that you get everything clarified, and you might find different bits of information that you haven't heard before, and that might be the thing that really sells the college to you. Okay, so point number 5, I did mention this earlier. This is your alumni success and your career support. Also, it does come down to individuals' work, but the college does play a big part into producing these amazing performers. And if there's lots of them, then you know that there's a high success rate. On top of this, a lot of us alumni are very friendly, and if you need advice on how the college is and what our opinions are, just drop us a message. Like I said before, we're more than happy to help you on your journey into success, and we want you to be successful. As well as this, you want to make sure that the college has a great career support team. You want to make sure that you can go to them with any questions about how are you going to get auditions, what's it like getting an agent, do we have agent days, do we have agent showcases, are they going to do enough for you to make sure that you leave college in the best possible condition, with the networks, with the connections, and hopefully with a job before you've even graduated. As well as this, some colleges like Performers, we got show reels through our agency, we had help building our CVs, and things like that are so important to learning college, because learning it outside of college would be far too stressful. Some colleges are amazing with giving you great communication skills and how to talk to people in the room, or especially when you go into the room, how do you communicate with the pianist and the different creatives on that team? Some of these things do get missed in colleges, and learning this outside of the room, terrifying. You want to make sure that they're going to give you this when you're in college. Point number 6. Okay, so this is a little bit less to do with the performing side, but it's the location and campus life. So yes, it's important to consider the proximity of how close it is to a performing arts hub and different opportunities, like if it's close to London, can you go do classes and workshops and things like that. But on the other hand, location is important, because you don't want to be in the middle of nowhere. You want to also have a life outside of college that's going to give you, hi! So yeah, I had someone come in then, crew, this is the life we live. I just find spare spaces when I can. So yeah, adding on, you want to make sure that you're not in the middle of nowhere. You want to make sure that there's things for you to do outside of college that's going to keep you sane. Can you and your friends go bowling on a night out? Can you guys go to, I don't know, a Toby Carvery on a Sunday? My absolute favourite, definitely kept me sane. And is there also going to be somewhere that if you need to work on the weekends, you can? I managed to find a theatre train where I could teach for 3 hours, covered my food shop for the week, and just a little bit extra. Like I said, being close to London, you can go watch shows as well. That was amazing for me to feel inspired for the next day at college. And campus life, is there extracurricular activities for you and your friends to do in college? So we've had so many fun things. We had silent discos, we had like cool little raves and things like that where they brought bands in and brought little food trucks. You want to make sure that you feel like a team and that your college is supporting you in the best way possible. We're on the last point now, point number 7 of the episode, and this is financial aid and admission fees. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, some colleges can offer scholarships, some grants, things like that that can provide you with aid when you're going to college. The Dada, for example, takes in earnings and breaks it up into different categories, and you'll get a certain percentage off. Like I got my degree, I do, however, go into debt because of that. When I earn enough, I'll pay bits off as I go, but that took a big financial burden off of me because I wasn't having to find it in my bank account at 18 years old, or my parents' bank account, bless them. We only had to pay for living and food. Again, location is important. Are you close to this college? Do you have to move out? Can you get back to see your family quickly without having to pay lots of money? All things to take into consideration when it comes to the financial side of things. Now, admission fees, what are those? Is it going to cost money to go to the audition? Not just travel, but do they require you to pay to audition? Some colleges do. Also, on top of that, a lot of colleges require you to pay money before you've even started college. This can be things like uniform. Most places do require uniform, that's just part of it, but I can imagine you'd have your ballet shoes, your tap shoes, your jazz shoes already. It would just be the leotards and things. So make sure that you're taking this into consideration, and also maybe you're saving up in advance. We all know what the dance world's like. Different fees come up everywhere and you're like, how do I afford to do my job, my career, when it's so expensive? Really take into consideration those things. Right, I know I said there were only 7 points, but my final point, I'm not even gonna call it number 8, I'm gonna call it the star point. Now the star point doesn't involve any of the information that I've told you. This point is, does it feel like the place for you? They could tick off all of the 7 points perfectly, but if you get there and it doesn't feel like home and it doesn't feel right to be there, then why would you jeopardize your happiness? If you go to somewhere else, for example, that isn't giving you 3 out of the 7 points, but it makes you feel alive and the people there are lovely, it feels like family, you feel like you could make the most out of the other 4 points there, why then would you give that up? Take it with both hands and absolutely go there. Yeah, the feeling is the utmost important thing. Obviously, there are hindrances with, like I said, financial things, but if you want it, then anything is possible. Thank you for coming, guys. I hope episode 2 wasn't too intense. If you do have any questions about choosing colleges that I haven't covered, please pop them below. Like and subscribe because I would love to keep this up. I've had a few questions already, which has kind of blown my mind when I've only had 17 people view. But thank you for watching Stepping into Success, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!